Hi, it's Tom Strasser again, and I hope you're having a great day. If not, let's talk about it and let's see what we can do. I want to share some things with you about this spiritual journey. I've been at it for a number of years. I've made a lot of mistakes and I've learned a few things. And one of the things I've learned, one of the things that was perplexing to me, a real challenge, is that I really started this and I wanted to be able to do God's will, do what this God wanted me to do because I just figured out it just made life better when I could do that. But I didn't always know what it was. Sometimes it's pretty obvious. Sometimes somebody told me, well, you may not know what it is all the time, what God's will is, but you sure know what it ain't. So don't do what it ain't, and your odds are pretty good. You're doing what he wants you to do, he or she or whatever we want to call it. And that's great. That was good advice. But also, I like answers. I like some directions. Okay, and I would pray about it. And I've got to tell you, sometimes I pray really hard, and I have not yet had a burning bush in front of me telling me this is what to do. I've not heard that thunderous voice saying, "Tom, go do this." Never had that. I wish that sometimes that God would send emails or text messages, but that's not the way it works for me. I have to get a feeling, get an idea of what to do. But also, I've noticed that over the years, that sometimes some of the things we see, and sometimes with just everyday events that we go through, can have a spiritual insight if we're open to it. And that's what happened to me. A number of years ago, I used to spend a lot of time up in the mountains in Wyoming, way back in the backcountry, on horses, and I just loved it back there. And I was out elk hunting, and I rode up and way up in the wilderness area, and I'd come up on this mountain of a night and of an afternoon. I was sitting there watching it. It was getting dark, and I kept watching for elk. And it's just a beautiful evening. Sunset was gorgeous. Everything was nice. And I just sit there. Then I realized I'd stayed too long. I couldn't get back out the way I'd come. I had to stay on that mountain all night, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't have a sleeping bag or anything. And I thought, well, going down off this mountain this way, there's a game trail. I've seen it down there. It'll take me to that valley below. And if I get to that valley, then I know I can get back to camp. I had a camp set up a couple mile upriver. And I know I can get back to camp if I do that. So okay, I start down that mountain, leading my horse because you can't ride. It was heavy timber, deadfalls. It was pretty rough country. Back in there, miles from a road or anything, I'm going down off this mountain. And so it's dark and it's pitch black, and I'm shining the light down and taking, watching what I'm doing. And I have to watch each footstep, and I have to shine the light up here and catch the branch so the branch doesn't hit me in the face and hit me, hurt me. And then part of the time it was muddy places, and the horse has all four hooves planted. She just locked up so she doesn't run over me. And we go down off of this, and I mean, down, straight down. And I mean, have to shine the light. And I thought, oh my gosh. And I finally get down, I break out, and I can see the valley. So we get down off the last steep part and get down the valley. Made it. Now we're going to get back to camp. So I swing up and put foot in the stirrup, swing up in the saddle, and we start riding. Beautiful night. Stars are out. I'm the only person within miles. I'm sitting there, and I had this epiphany. I just experienced and had a great lesson on how God's will works in my life. See, I come down off that mountain. I had the flashlight. I didn't know the trail. I knew the trail was going the right direction. I knew it was going down that mountain, and pretty sure it would take me to where I wanted to go if I could get down there. And I'd shine the light, and I have to take one step at a time. I'd have to use that light to see where to put my foot, this foot right here, or where this branch was. It's going to hit me in the face. I had to use that light like that. And I realized that's what God's will does. See, all my life, when I was a kid growing up and I'd have a flashlight out in the dark, I'd be shining it all over the place. And my mom would always tell me, shine it where you're walking. And see, that's what God's will is. This is the way it works. See, God always shines the light where I'm to put my next step, my next foot. He always, when I pray and ask for help, He lights up the place I'm to put that foot or to put that hand. He lights it up just a little bit. And I'm human. I want to see the whole doggone trail. I want to see where it's going. I don't want to see where it's going today. I want to see where it's going next week, next year. I want to see everything. I want to know everything. And that's not the way it works. See, God's will, His revelation of His will, works in this moment, right here, right now. Doesn't work tomorrow, next day, or next week. It works right here, right now, just like that flashlight. I have to go where he puts the light. And sometimes I have to wait and see where that light's going to be. I have to be patient and wait. Because, see, this God is absolutely wonderful. If I take off and go my own way and get over here in the briars and the brambles and the deadfalls, if I just stop and pray and ask for help, that light comes on and he brings me back to the right path. He brings me back to that easier way, the way that works out best. And that's the way he works. But he does it one step at a time. He does it where I've got to put my foot right now, where I've got to put the hand, where I've got to get the danger out of my way. That's the way his will works. And it's just absolutely wonderful when I realize that and when I still live about it, because I still want to see the whole path. I still want to see it sometimes. But then I remember this moment when I realized that God's will is always revealed in this moment, for the next action. Sometimes it's a bright light and it's very easy to discern. Sometimes it's just a little dim glow, and I have to be able to move toward that glow. And sometimes I see nothing and I just have to wait. But if I keep praying and asking, something will light up. I will know what the very next move is, and then wait, and the next move, and the one after that. And that's the way it works. It's not the whole trail or the whole everything in my future. It's one step at a time at this moment. That's all it is. And I have to learn to be patient and look for that. And that's absolutely wonderful when I can remember. This is so simple. All I have to do is pray and then go where the light shines. Pray and go where the light shines. That's it. It's just that simple. And I have to sit back and be patient until I see that light. See, God's got the flashlight. If I let Him have the flashlight in my life, and all I have to do is pray and see the light and make the action, take the action, all I have to do is just go where the light shines. And it's absolutely great. And it's wonderful when I can do that, but sometimes I still want to take the trail myself and get off. But he always brings me back. He always brings me back if I just ask and simply go where the light shines.